Hi there, it's Commander Davis, and today we're looking at planetary landings. And we're going to do this in my Type 7 because nothing says manoeuvrability like something shaped like a brick. There's a few things you're going to need for planetary landings. First is actually a copy of Elite Horizons. The base game doesn't allow you to do it. And the second thing is a planetary approach suite. These become available once you've purchased Horizons. They're not very expensive. The other thing you might want, although it's not mandatory, is a vehicle hangar and a vehicle to put in it, so you can get out and have a wander around. So we can do this by going into outfitting and picking an optional internal component. I'm just going to replace a cargo bay. And here's one I've purchased earlier. So the hangar just gives you the ability to house a vehicle. You'll notice I've got a new slot now for a vehicle. And I can just pick a Scarab. Again, not hugely expensive. So with this particular hangar you can only get one vehicle. I can't purchase any more. But larger hangars in larger slots will allow you to have multiple vehicles. So the next thing we need is a planet to go land on. So this is any planetary body that does not have an atmosphere and is not the Earth's moon, as far as I can tell. That's mainly because the moon is using high-resolution textures, and they clearly don't have a high-resolution surface map to use. Most of the planets, or all the planets, use random-generated surfaces. But you pick a planet with no atmosphere, with a little blue icon next to it, fly towards it, and it will allow you to land. And some of them have bases on them, and some of them have little sort of cities that you can land at. This is the first time I've actually used my Type 7 in VR, so I am sort of having a bit of a look around because it's quite large. I also get rear-ended here. Yes, I was trying to. Yeah, you get a sense of the height. The cockpit's quite low down, and certainly in VR you get a sense of the height of the Type 7, which is incidentally why I use this as a large pad. It would normally be a medium-sized pad, but the height means it needs to go onto a large one. It's quite a tall cockpit. Anyway,
drive charging.
We'll head off to the planet and go land.
3, 2, 1, engage.
So I've picked a landing place that's next to somewhere I can actually dock. It's one of these little outpost city places. And I'm now approaching the planet so that I'm sort of reasonably flat on to the area I want to land on. Coming down on a dive is not great, especially in something like the Type 7, which really does not handle well. At this point, those of you without Horizons would have crashed nastily out of Supercruise, suffered some damage to your hull, and now face the pain of having to climb out of the gravity well. But for me, I've gone into orbital cruise, and you'll note things have changed. I've now got what looks like a fighter display, and as I fly around the planet, if I'm flying flat, I actually speed up. So that blue area that I went into can be used for orbiting the planet quite quickly. Now here I'm actually dropping out of Supercruise. I've got close enough to the planet and we're now getting into the glide phase. That basically allows you just to close the distance between you and your target. So I'm actually going to fly away from
Lincoln Delta Alpha Victor. We eagerly await your arrival, Commander.
Fly away from the base.
Welcome at this terrestrial port.
Just so we can get out in the vehicle and have a bit of a play around. And you'll know I've not picked a landing spot, I've just basically decided I'm going to land here. Gear down.
Landing gear deployed.
And you'll note that the radar's now displayed to the, I'll change to the landing display. And I have unsuitable terrain. So if I just move forward a little bit, and you'll note where the ship turns blue. There we go. I can land. Now, if you're at a funny angle to the surface, it'll give you an icon to say straighten up. And when your alignment's okay, you can land. Now you can land on a fairly steep angle. Of course, the larger the ship, the larger the area of flat land you need to find. And then you just sort of bring it down and drive it into the ground slowly. So I'm going to pick my vehicle and go out for a drive.
Low gravity warning.
Always fun driving in low gravity. So there's the base. My ship's behind me, so we'll jump into the turret. This is always disconcerting in VR. You're sort of sat halfway into the vehicle, and if I do that, you start sort of being able to see in the vehicle. It's quite weird. It definitely feels like you're sort of hanging on. So one thing we can do is we can dismiss the ship. And it will go fly away somewhere safe. Off it goes. And now let's go have some fun with low gravity planet. Little thrusters on the Scarab mean you can not so much fly but jump. You need to be careful with your landings. As I say, you can ding the vehicle a little bit. Right, so I want to bring my ship back. I'm a little too close to the base at the moment, so I need to clear that. So if we just keep driving. Another ridge. And yeah, sort of skidding around because of the low gravity. So let's pull the ship back. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There it is. So I've got a big crater I need to cross. Let's jump out of this. Should be fun. Now at this point I think I'm actually higher than my ship. Gosh. I have unfortunately come a little bit too close, so the ship's gone away because I've blocked its landing area. Off it goes. So we'll ask for it back. That's definitely something to note. If you're sending the ship off and you're involved in combat, and you're wanting to do like a hot extract, is don't get too close because it'll fly off again and you'll have to try and survive while it faffs about taking off and landing again. So this time we'll make a slightly slower approach, let it come down. It's down, let's go. And we'll just do a quick run past the ship. If you bear in mind that that little square there is where the vehicle goes, so that's the size of a one-man vehicle. There's the cockpit, so you get an idea for the sort of the scale of the ship. Let's go put the vehicle back. So we're nice and close to the base, so what we can do is just go demonstrate landing there. Get some height.
Lincoln Delta Alpha Victor. Submit a request before docking and enjoy your visit, Commander.
So it's exactly the same as docking at
Request approved. Set down on
space
landing
station.
pad 10.
Most directly resembles an outpost, except you just can't fly around the whole thing. You can only fly around the top. A bit of planning in the way.
Allow for increased traffic flow in this sector. Restrict your speed.
And my speed is restricted. I'm flying a brick. So I'm slightly the wrong way around. So I'll just spin the ship around. And we'll watch the guy next to me just show off. Yes, we get it. You have a nice movable ship. And I'm just a little bit too busy watching him and not really paying attention. I don't notice I've drifted off here. So we're now going to scrape our ship across the landing pad. There we go.
Contact. Dispatching ground crew. We are pleased to receive you, Commander.
So it's a nice touch that the hangars are underground on these stations now. They didn't used to be. They used to use the same models as docks and space stations. And we can jump into our vehicle here as well. We come out of the garage. And you can go explore have a look around the buildings, and you can actually drive up on the area around the landing pads. So to the left is actually where I landed. That's the large pad that I came down on. And you can actually get on them as well.
Chassis integrity compromised.
I love the fact that I just barely touched it and it decided to brake. You need to have a little bit of movement while you're jumping because the thrusters are sort of up. There you go. You need to get the size of the large landing pads. I mean, I'm not going slowly, and it takes a little while to traverse the whole thing. It gives you an idea for some of the scale of some of the larger ships. So getting back into your ship if you've come out of a garage, it's just a question of going back to the garage, but you need to request docking permission again. I'm just going to head back into the garage I came out of.
Ship ready for boarding.
And we're back in the ship. So all that's left to do is take off. So normally what I do here is
Detach confirmed. Clear for ascent.
Landing gear retracted.
head straight up using vertical thrusters, pull the gear up, point the nose up, hit boost, wait for the mass lock to disappear. Yeah.
Frame shift drive.
Turn the frame shift drive on, and away you go.
Is clear. 07, Commander.
You need to be making sure you're pointing straight up at the escape vector. However, this is a manoeuvre I pull off in my ASP, and I have completely forgotten that the heat dissipation on Type 7 sucks. So, alarms going off, things start sparking, and yeah, we might give up on this. Let everything cool down just a little bit. It's the combination of the fact that my jump drive is taking a long time to charge, I was boosting, which generates heat, and the fact that this just does not shed heat that well.
Frame shift drive charging.
So this time we won't boost, and we're further away, so it should charge a lot faster.
4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
So if you were travelling between systems, at that point you could have actually just hyperspaced away from the planet. I'm travelling intra-system, so I may need to climb out of the gravity well. It's just a question of sort of flying upwards and you accelerate. What we can do is we can demonstrate the orbital cruise mechanic again, where if you are flying horizontal with the planet, you actually speed up. So within that blue mark, you fly faster. But of course, because the planet is a sphere, you have to fly a slightly circular route just to keep your attitude horizontal relative to the planet. And depending on the size of the planet, depends on how tight a circle you need to make. Anyway, I'm going to go back and repair the damage I got from that heat overload, And that is Planetary Landings. From here on in, it's just like playing the normal game. Okay, cheers.